Good afternoon, Western Washington, and happy Friday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the next few days, including the change ahead with a cooler weekend and some rain, and then we warm up again next week. So starting here with the satellite imagery, you can see we have some scattered clouds across Western Washington over the I-5 corridor there. Our weak system is here offshore, bringing some rain. We'll take a look at that in a moment. You can see it's spreading clouds inland. We will be cloudy by this evening across Western Washington with the marine push bringing some breezy conditions as well. We'll look at that in a moment as we go through the video here. You can see this is not too big of a system, but it's not moving too fast there. Taking a look at the radar, you can see we have some small bands of rain off the coast there moving inland. We won't get too much rain in the wake of this system, only a few hundredths of an inch for most places, but it will be enough to make things wet and to water everything. It has been pretty dry here lately. Taking a look at the overall pattern, you can see our ridge is moving off to the east. We get this weak trough moving through. That's our system Saturday into Sunday, and then you can see the ridge builds back in. We're going to warm up as we go into Monday and Tuesday, and then that ridge pushes out as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, opening the door to potentially more systems before some more ridging starts to build in as we go into the end of next week, into next weekend. That will be Saturday the 10th. You can see we're kind of in the middle of that ridging and that troughing. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few days. Taking a look at the European model forecast for precipitation, you can see rain moving onshore as we go into this evening. Doesn't really reach the lowlands until Saturday early morning there around sunrise, continuing with some showers at times through the day Saturday into early Sunday there. You can see some of those showers linger in the mountains through the day Sunday before we dry out into Monday there. So taking a look here with the marine push moving through this afternoon, you can see we'll likely get some winds gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour across Western Washington. Of course, your downslope winds through the gaps in the eastern slopes of the Cascades, but across Western Washington, it'll be a nice cool breeze, gusts 25 to 35 miles per hour. Taking a look at total rain through this weekend, you can see a few hundredths of an inch for most of the I-5 corridor, up to a quarter inch in the highest amounts. There you can see the north coast getting up over a quarter inch with near a half inch in some of the Olympic Mountains, and some scattered rain across eastern Washington, but not all that much in the way of rain with this system, just a few hundredths of an inch for the Seattle metro area. Now taking a look at high temperatures, you can see today, Friday, we're going to get into the upper 60s to low 70s across Western Washington. However, with those clouds moving in, the coast stays in the upper 50s. Take a look at this cool down tomorrow. We drop all the way into the mid to upper 50s for most of the area, low 60s from Tacoma southward. The coast remains in the mid 50s, but then we do start to warm back up as we go into Sunday. You see highs in the upper 50s to low 60s, mid 60s from Olympia south toward Portland, and the coast back into the upper 50s. Then as we go into Monday, we warm up further with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s, again mid 70s in southwest Washington, and low 60s on the coast. And then take a look at Tuesday there. You're looking at highs in the upper 70s to low 80s across parts of western Washington, from Seattle southward through the Portland metro, where highs will be in the mid 80s. So you can see some of the valleys in the Puget Sound area maybe reaching the upper 70s, could potentially get toward 80 in Tacoma and Olympia southward there. You can see the coast in the mid to upper 60s there on Tuesday, and areas from Seattle northward pleasant in the upper 60s to mid 70s. That continues on Wednesday, but we cool a tad. You can see highs dropping into the upper 60s to mid 70s across the area, maybe some upper 70s around King and Pierce counties. And then you can see from Thurston County southward toward Portland, their highs in the upper 70s to low 80s around the Portland metro, dropping down to the upper 50s to low 60s there on the coast. And look at eastern Washington on Wednesday. Their highs near 90 degrees for a lot of the area, so pretty interesting to see. It is warming up here quickly. And then as we go into Thursday of next week, we do start to cool back down a bit with those highs dropping to the mid to upper 60s and staying in the upper 50s on the coast, but we'll rebound a bit as we go into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week with those highs remaining in the 70s. So overall, pretty pleasant weather with this exception being this weekend. And just wanted to point this out here as we go from today into tomorrow. So this is looking at a 24-hour temperature change from 2 p.m. today, Friday, to 2 p.m. Saturday, and you can see big decrease in temperatures across western Washington, with those high temperatures likely decreasing 10 to 15 degrees. Take a look at the Cascades in eastern Washington. You're looking at those highs decreasing 20 to 25 degrees. So yeah, about 15, 20 degrees colder across the area tomorrow versus today. But again, remember, we got more sun and warmth coming up next week. Taking a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, this is looking at most of next week, so May 7th to 11th. You can see a decent potential for above average temperatures across western Washington, paired with near normal to below average precipitation, so we'll be trending slightly below normal, is my guess, going in to the middle of May there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Western Washington Weather here on YouTube, and follow me on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and the Western Washington Weather Facebook group. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.